Charlie,
Hello, Frank. How's it going, bro?
welcome to the show. What is who are you? Why are you here?
Well, I'm here to have a little chat about me, how I've got to where I am today. I guess.
Yeah,
I'm head coach of a sales coaching program. I've got my own,
which one?
yours truly, Zenith Sales Academy, the best.
Sounds really good actually. Sounds
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, it's brilliant. There's some brilliant talent in there. Great teams, brilliant
Yeah,
business
good
owners, a good
coaches.
laugh. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's good crack, mate. 100%.
No, it's cool, isn't it? Because we met what in March, was it?
March, yeah.
Through a mutual contact, and now I can't imagine life without you.
Oh, that's cute. Me
You're
neither,
my
brother. Yeah.
you're my saving grace. You're probably my most used contact in my phone.
On top
But
of the
I
missus.
never. We, well, yeah, obviously, but we were just saying this just before, weren't we? Like we've worked together now for over 3 months, speak to each other every single day, and I don't really know your story. I know parts of it, and I know little snippets, and you've said stuff, but yeah, I want to know more. If it's okay with you, just tell me from, I guess, when we met, why are you in this space now? So you're in the sales space. You know, you you're working with me. You've worked on projects in the past in sales, but why do you think sales was the thing that you chose to do and enjoy and be a part of?
Well, I'm not really sure on how to chronologically put this together, but I guess I got into sales because I always knew I wanted more, right? I always knew I wanted more out of life. And I was always achieving at a high level in everything that I did. I just was terrible at making choices in what I decided to go down. So I was into lived quite a crazy life, to be honest, as someone who's only 25. But I was, and we'll get onto this later, but got very involved in drugs. I'm in recovery at the minute, and at the minute I always will be, but I got very involved in drugs, and that sort of took me down a very weird path. And I got involved in making music, so I'm quite a creative. I was also doing graffiti and stuff like that, and I was doing that at a really high level, but putting so much time and energy into that, right, which was kind of, I guess, the wrong path for me, in the sense that it wasn't really giving me any return or anything, right? And I got sober in 2024, and that was in May 2024, so just over 2 years ago now. And I was working as a chef at the time, and I was like, I need to do more. Like, I love making food, I love being creative. I'm quite fulfilled in the sense that I'm doing something I enjoy, but it's not giving me what I want. It's never going to get me out of this situation that I'm in. And I was always really interested in making online money. I'd been done a lot of crypto. I mean, throughout my addiction, I'd made 50 to 100k in crypto and lost it all, in equally a fast amount of time. And so I knew that trading was something that worked. And I got onto my first sales call, which, looking back, was the probably possibly one of the worst sales calls I've ever been on. He pitched me 10
As in,
grand.
as in, you were the client.
I was the prospect, yeah. And he
Okay.
pitched me his 10 grand product, and I was like, fuck, I can't afford that. There's absolutely no way. So I left. But I was like, I'd committed. I need to start investing in myself to learn a skill, because I've been going back and forth for 5 or 6 years now trading and not making anything work. Obviously, due to my circumstances and being out my face all the time, didn't help. But I was like, I need help. And then I come across an ad for some other coaching program about sales, and I was like, I love chatting to people. People always saying I'd be a great salesperson. I kind of got some experience in sales in certain regards, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go into this. I'm going to make the 10 grand, and then I'm going to go buy that trading mentorship, and then that's it, right? Got into the space, very quickly realized that I really enjoy communicating with people, and I enjoy like the high pressure, high pace. Like, it reminded me of the kitchen when service starts and the checks are just fucking coming in, and
Mm.
you're just out of your depth, and it's only 4 minutes into your shift, right? And I was like, oh, this is fucking brilliant. Like, it just lights me up. And I realized as well that I'm surrounded by these high performing people, but throughout like the 3 or 4 years of recovery I'd been on, or 2 or 3 years of recovery I'd already been on in that point of time, I built so many strong habits and such a strong understanding of myself and my internal state that I'm around these so-called high achievers, and they are just, for want of a better word, quite useless, and have poor habits, have poor routines, have poor systems, don't have like deeply instilled why or motivated to actually get out of bed and achieve things. And I realised quite quickly, fuck, I could be like a 1%, top
Mhm.
1% sort of guy in this industry, because I'm already so much further ahead mentally, like in the internal side of things. And I fell in love with the idea of being able to help other people and use my ability, like use what I'd learned about myself to encourage other people to make like positive decisions for themselves in terms of like progressing themselves further. And I got into the management and coaching side of things, admittedly maybe a little bit too soon in my sales career, which put a fire under my ass to become a better coach. And then I fell in love
Mm.
with seeing the results of other people, seeing how they felt about their results, seeing them have, you know, uplifted income, more freedom, more time to do what they want. And I was like, this is addictive. Seeing people get that fulfillment out of life is just fucking so addictive. And I'm still here, and I don't see myself leaving the sales or the coaching space anytime soon at all. And that all started off because I saw an ad and was like, I can make 10 grand and buy that trading mentorship, which I did
Did
inevitably
you?
buy and haven't used much
You
of it.
did buy it.
Yeah, I've hardly used it, dude. I'll be honest. Like, I've just spent like 16k USD on something that I don't use.
Have you heard of chaos theory?
No.
Chaos theory is when you make one seemingly insignificant decision, and that then leads to a life you didn't know could exist. So, reason I bring that up is you going onto that trading call probably didn't think you'd be a sales manager a couple of years later,
No.
right? What decision do you think put you into the like what got you off the starting blocks in your life? Like, were you always just this higher achiever, motivated, wanting to get more out of life type of person from being young, or did it come from hitting, I don't want to say rock bottom because I don't know your story, but that that bad phase, do you think that lit a fire to get you out and get you to the position you're in now?
I could draw on a couple of exact moments in my life where there were pinnacle moments, but to answer the first half of that question around was I always that sort of person, I resonate a lot with these entrepreneurs that you see that are always like, I always had that in me, I always knew. And like, you know, I'm sure you'll understand as well, you always had that like thing at the back of your head that just tells you that you knew that you're that guy that's going to go and do that thing, right? I mean, back at school, I went to one of the best schools, grammar schools in my county, like second, third best school in my county. Super, like, I just did well. Didn't really have to try at school. Got A's, got B's, got C's. Like, I'm a linguist. Like, I'm good at languages. I picked them up very quickly. So I was always very talented. I didn't have to put any effort into that. Football, played okay for like 10 years. It was like not a high level or anything, but always pretty good at most things. So I guess I was relatively high achieving, or I always like to operate at a relatively high level. But looking back, I didn't really understand discipline. I never trained in a gym. I didn't really understand what discipline actually meant. And it's not necessarily due to like my parents' fault or anything like that, but I never really understood habits or how to get towards that thing or how to satiate that desire of I know I can do more. I just didn't quite know how. What was the second half of that question again, Frank?
I don't remember. Why are you the way you are? Like, from day one, what's something that, what would you describe yourself as a youngster? And would you say it's the same version of yourself now?
Absolutely not the same version of myself. I'd say younger version, if we're going to talk between like the ages of 15 and 20, we're going to say that I grappled a lot with like deep confidence issues, insecurity, anger at the world, anger at myself, fear. I was in a very difficult environment, really, and that's of my own choosing, right? I put myself into some very difficult scenarios. I've been in some places that most people are never ever going to sort of be in, and those things have allowed me to grow into who I am today. So now I consider myself, you know, very emotionally under control. I am kind, you know, I'm very willing to serve others. That is something that I'd never did leave me. I always wanted to serve others. I've always had that within me, that kindness. It just sort of showed up slightly differently. And like the scenarios I put myself in have allowed me now to collect so much data around why I am the way I am with regard to being nice and making sure I experience life properly and make sure that everyone around me is seen to in the way that I can service them best and turn up for them in the nicest way.
I mean this with respect, and I genuinely want to know. But do you? Something I've noticed about you is when you're asked something, if I ask you a question, or if we're just having a chat day today, or if one of the clients asks you a question, you're there, you're ready to answer, you know exactly what you're going to say, you can articulate it really well. Are you just very introspective and have these thoughts already going around your mind, you're waiting for someone to pull it out, or do you like how do you create these like well thought out, really considered answers to questions that, require a little bit more thinking?
I've been forced to look at myself in. I've had to force myself to look at myself and my scenario, like my surroundings, like what the fuck am I doing with myself? What are you doing with yourself? Wake up. Like, look at yourself. What is wrong with you? Like, why are you taking these steps every single day towards something that is literally at the point where it was killing me, right? With the drugs. And I just, so for some context, I'll just give you a bit of a background context on kind of my experience and what's led me up to this introspective journey. So started taking hard drugs when I was like 15 years old, right? Just party drugs, like MDMA, cat, bit of coke, just like what kids do. I mean, at least around my area, there's nothing really to do, so you just get high, right? And everyone does it, and it's normalized. And I was like, oh, this makes me feel good. I like this, right? It makes me stop thinking about all the other shit in my life, all these other worries and fears and insecurities. And I started getting involved in the wrong crowd of people. I'd go out to the town across, and we're 30 man deep, and everyone's taking drugs. We're fucking just committing petty crime, right? Like, just being kids, really. Like, I don't know if we're being kids, but like fucking stealing bikes, setting fire to shit, like fucking getting in fights with people from the other town, like crashing house parties with like 50, 60 of us, just fucking stuff up. Like, I was never the perpetrator of these things, but I was involved in it, right? And I felt, oh, these are my people. I finally feel like accepted and welcomed in, and everyone's taking drugs, so everyone's on a good vibe. And then started going, oh, well, everyone's taking them. Where are people buying it from, right? I need some money. Let's capitalize on this, right? And then you start getting out more and going out more because then you're getting paid to go out. And then all of a sudden you end up, it gets bigger and bigger, and you get more and more, and it gets more and more involved, and you start dealing with worse and worse people. And then you start getting into, to be honest, quite dangerous situations. And it's Tuesday afternoon, you're 17, 18 years old, right? You're dealing with people 24, 25, and these are fucking dodgy people, mate. Some of them, like, they are out of my depth entirely for 4 or 5 years, man. Like, I was doing this as a career in the wrong environment, really, to be honest, and just dealing with these bad people. And all my friends are at work on a Tuesday afternoon, or, I mean, like, in an office, and I'm just dealing with these fucked up, crazy people. And in that sense there, like, the drugs have naturally progressed on. I'm taking coke more. I started taking opiates. So have you ever heard of lean? Like drinking lean?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I started drinking lean when I was like 17 because it was just the trendy thing to do. The rappers were doing it. I'm obviously involved in this whole lifestyle of like, oh yeah, money, money, rap, drugs, all this. And
Is that
yeah.
cough syrup mixed?
Yeah. So it's codeine syrup,
Yeah,
right? And I started taking that,
yeah.
and then it was like, oh, this is nice. And this was the first point in my life where I was like, oh, me and you are going to have a problem. Like, I actually thought it to myself, like, oh, this is actually bad. Like, it was like 3 weeks in, and I was like wanting it on a Monday morning, and I was like, fucking hell, man, like, this is bad. And then it starts wearing off, start taking morphine, right? And then you start taking oxy, which is just like levels, mate. It's just insanely strong. And you end up it ends up not being fun anymore, right? And then you're like, why am I doing this? And you stop taking it, and you start being physically sick and unwell and very ill, and you end up going down this path of just on and off, on and off, on and off for kind of years and years and years. And it took me about 4 or 5. It took me 4.5 years from first taking it to breaking out and getting clean in 2022, of just on off, on off, on off. And along this journey, I was homeless twice. I was homeless for about 6 months when I was about 20, because I just obviously my mum was like, you can't be doing this at my house, and she expected that to be like, oh, okay, I'll stop taking it. But unfortunately, it's not that simple, right? I was like, okay, cool, see you later. It got to the point where in 2022, after like lots of things that we can also get into, I and multiple suicide attempts, like I'm talking dozens at this point, of genuine suicide attempts. But my tolerance was so high that I couldn't afford to take enough to kill me. It got to the point where October 1st, 2022, I woke up. I had a seizure, probably from cold turkey, not from the drugs, but I'd had a seizure, and I woke up, and I was living in my friend's room while she was at uni, because I had nowhere to live. And I just heard, basically everything was quiet, and I heard someone banging on the door going, Charlie, 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 Charlie. And I woke up, and I knew I'd had a seizure because of the way I felt, and there was like shit all over my fucking face, and no one was at the door. And I was like, what the fuck? I swear she was at the door shouting at me. And I was like, this is fucked up, man. And then I looked around, and I was like, oh, I wasn't meant to wake up today. I just remembered it kind of sunk in, settled in, and I was like, fuck, man, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you can't keep living like this. Like, you can't keep doing this. Like, and that's the point. I tried to end it because I just couldn't continue on this. And then I got in the shower, and I genuinely cried for like an hour. And I was like, this isn't it. Like, come on, man. Like, you know you're worth more. Like, this isn't where it ends, dude. And the fact you've woken up, like, something's changed. I don't, at this point, I didn't believe in God, and I'm not religious, but something clicked, and I was like, fuck, I need to change. I texted my mum, like, I need to come home. I promise I'll fix everything. I'll sort it out. I'll do anything. Like, I actually promise this time round, it's going to be different. And for the next 18 months, it was hell, dude. Like, it was so unbelievably difficult I did it alone, so I tapered off. I went to see the plug, got enough that I knew that I could taper off 10%, drop down a week, and safely come off it without any health like repercussions. And throughout that journey, man, like, I had lost the ability to talk to people like a human being with decency, because I was obviously in the industry I was in. Like, you have to be harsh, you have to be cutthroat, you cannot fuck around. And I had to learn how to build relationships. I had to kind of repair the relationships I'd lost with all of my closest friends that I'm grateful enough to have now, my family. I had to learn how to hold a job down. I had to learn to talk to people in a job properly. And the amount of times I wanted to turn back, the amount of times I wanted to give up, and I was like, I can't give up. I cannot go back to that, no matter how much I wanted, no matter how many tears or sleepless nights or diarrhea or lack of food or cold sweats or nightmares or hallucinations or whatever it is, right? Or trauma coming up that I'd suppressed through taking these drugs. Like, it was all coming up, and I had no choice, Frank, but just to sit with it, man, and experience it and feel it. Why do I feel this way? I can't keep burying myself in this feeling. I have to accept it. I have to face it. It's uncomfortable. Why do I feel this way? Why have I made decisions the way I did? How has it even got to this point? Like, why on earth have I allowed it to slip so far, right? And like I said, I didn't feel good. I was heavily drinking at the time, because it was like I just had to fucking get through life, mate, without taking opiates. Like, I was drinking every day. I was still taking coke like 5-6 times a week. It lessened as time went on, but like, I had no choice but to look at myself and what was happening. And it becomes habit after long enough that you have to just go, why do I feel this way? Why am I looking this way? Why am I making this decision the way I do? Is it the right decision? Is it the wrong decision? From what frame of mind am I taking this? Is it a good frame of mind or a bad frame of mind, right? And it ingrains it in you to potentially, like, to unhealthy levels, like we were talking about earlier about overthinking. It might be an unhealthy obsession, right? But it's got me to where I am today, and my introspection has come from years of just having to be forced to sit in it. And people are often not forced, which is lucky, I guess, or I'm lucky, maybe. But people haven't had it shit enough or had the time to look at themselves for long enough to be introspective enough to be able to come up with these ideas, I guess.
Would you change any of that?
Fuck no.
See, people are going to be surprised that you've said that.
Mate, like, I have health issues. I have mental health issues, definitely. You know, I'm definitely, you know, I'm a few sandwiches short, Frank. I'm going to be real with you, mate. Like, I've lost the plot a little bit, but and that is difficult. You know, I do have difficult periods of sleep. I have nightmares. I have to go to therapy. You know, I have things that I unfortunately cannot avoid that I'd rather not do or have to experience. But that's just the nature of the game, mate. I've done it to myself. I'm actually, if anything, grateful because I've fast tracked so much spiritual learning over the last 3 or 4 years, and I genuinely feel like I've lived 2 lives because the first 8 years of like adulthood since leaving school at like 15, I've lived an insanely volatile life, and I've been around some insanely volatile people and seen some crazy shit and been involved like personally in relationships or friends. I've seen friends die. I've had to save people's lives. I've been in like extremely just fucking insane situations, and for that I'm grateful because now I can look at someone, and I heard this the other day that the kindest people have seen the hardest lives, and it's I'm so much softer and I'm so much more understanding of others because I've been through it, and for that I'm eternally grateful, and I take all the other stuff that I have to deal with a smile.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because you had the choice to put someone through that or not put them through that. Every single time you'd pick, don't put them through that, right? Because of the fucking. I get it. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I've not got the same story, but I've been in very, very. I was resonating with a lot of what you just said, and you wouldn't change it because you would not be where you are now, or the person you are, or the coach you are, or the friend you are, or the person you are today if you didn't have those experiences.
Yeah.
But it's it's so hard to say this to someone who doesn't get it, but was there a catalyst, do you think, to start that downward spiral? And let me give you a reason I ask. So I started my downward spiral at a very similar age, like 15, 16 years old. My mum died at 17. Looking back, it's very, like, without full memory, and as you just said, like we were saying this before we started this podcast, that memory sometimes for both of us isn't always there. You look back and go, was it because of that? Was it because of that? Was it because mum died that I went down that spiral? No, it was before that because I was still a piece of shit before. But then you're like, did it like did it make it work? I can't pinpoint as to why something started. It just happened. And then I think when you're in that phase, you experience stuff that reaffirms that that's the path that you should be on.
Mm.
Does that make sense for you? Like, or was it different? Was there a thing that was there a catalyst that made you go, fuck it, I'm gonna rebel, or I'm gonna take that drug, or I'm gonna do that thing, I'm gonna try it, or was it just a downward spiral that compounded?
I think there was an element of compounding, but I think there's also, like, looking back now, like, obviously I've been forced into looking at why. I don't really have a clear answer, but there's a couple of things. When I was 13, a girl I was seeing, we sort of broke up, right? And we had an argument, and that was the last time I saw her because 2 days later she got hit by a train. And
Fuck.
yeah, I mean, it makes me feel sad thinking about it now. And every day I walk past that crossing on my morning walk, and it's not something I think about all the time. Excuse me, but I guess that probably played a part. And then 15, got into a relationship with someone, really liked them, and they kind of fucked me over as they do, right? And that just taught me that people aren't who they say they are, and that really hurt me. And that was at the time when I started smoking weed every day. I was a skateboarder, I was making music, I was in the graffiti space, like, you know, that sort of long sleeve with the short sleeve t-shirt over the top, you know, like the skinny jeans, like that was my sort of emo-y sort of vibe. And then I was probably clinically depressed at that point, dude, and I was definitely needed some help, and I definitely didn't want to be around anymore. And then I tried MDMA when I was 15. I was like, oh, this makes you feel good. This makes you forget about all this shit. Like I feel horrible every day, and this makes you feel good. And then it was like, okay, I like this. This fixes the problem, right? And that was the first thing. Looking back now, I didn't realize, but that was the first time I was like, oh, I can feel comfortable with myself. I feel accepted within myself, and I'm able to. I feel accepted within myself, and then that probably would have been all right, but the opiates were really the worst thing. And I tried to explain this. It's impossible to explain to someone who isn't an addict, but opiates especially are like, I don't want to go too deep here, Frank, but imagine the feeling, dude, of if you could give your mum now, if you could just go and like wrap yourself up in her arms now, and it's warm, bro, and there's a fire, right? Like that feeling, that's what opiates gives you. Just nothing matters, brother. It's just, it's okay. No, I've got you. I'm here for you. I've got you. Don't worry. Just go to sleep. It's fine. We'll fix this tomorrow, right? And that, bro, like that. Just there's no escaping from that once you're there. Like you just like, dude, nothing. And even to this point now, bro, nothing has given me that sense of safety and security ever. And I've met some beautiful people, and I love my mother, I love my dad, I love my sister, but they just cannot compete with that. So that's kind of what caused it.
Have you heard of Mike Maliak?
No.
I think it'd be a good book for you to read. So do you know Logan Paul, his right hand man, Mike Maliak?
Okay.
Um, he's random bringing it up, but he's got a book called The Fifth Vital, and he describes it. He went through the exact same thing. He was on I think it was like the 80s or 90s opioid uh, pandemic in the US, where they were just prescribing it for pain relief, and then you could just whatever.
Mm.
Um, and he got very, very addicted, and he spoke about his journey getting off, on and off, on and off, on and off for 10, 15 years, and eventually there is no, you either die or you figure it out, right? But there's no one, there's nothing, there's no like there's no external factor that can stop you. You have to come to that internal decision that you need to change this now. Would you agree?
No one's coming to save you. It's on you. And whether you die or not is within your control, and your control only.
So what strength do you need? Like, because when you had that knock on the door, you're comparing, right? In some capacity, you're comparing the situation you're in to a situation that you have had in your mind that you deserve, or you not deserve, but you think of yourself higher, right? What drags you through that? What keeps you going? What stops you from going back?
Well, I can't. Firstly, I just can't. I don't have a
But
choice.
in that phase when you're, because I'm imagining it as when you're in that situation, you probably think of yourself quite badly.
Yeah.
You look down on yourself. You define yourself as something that maybe isn't true, or maybe you believe to be true that others wouldn't believe. But you're so obsessed with this bad version of yourself. How do you wake up every morning and convince yourself that that's not you to define yourself by? Because this is something that I feel like not necessarily with opioids, but people can resonate with. Like they define themselves as something,
Yeah.
and it's going to be way easier to overcome than what you overcame in with
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah, it
but
is.
but how? Like how do you when because when something's a belief, it's like me saying you telling me that this is purple. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's
I get
white.
it.
I believe this to be white. This fact that this is white.
But you can believe what you want. That's the point. You can be the architect of your life in whatever metric. And I know it sounds silly and it sounds unrealistic, but well, I guess you can just say you're not that person, and you just won't be straight away. Whether or not you believe it's a different story, but I'm not someone who gives up, is what I told myself. I'm not someone who quits. I mean, fuck me, mate. I didn't quit drugs, so I'm clearly not a quitter, right? So I'm just not someone who quits, and you just have to, like, drinking, for example, right? It took me 2 years to stop that. I was of the frame of mind, I just want to be able to make enough money that I can go and have a few pints and play some pool on a Tuesday afternoon, and that's what it is. I mean, pretty much the same it stands, just without the pints now. But I realised that I'm drinking because I like people who are older. Like I say, like most of my friends were at that point, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They're having a couple jars. They're relatively successful, got a nice-ish car, banging house, wife, kids, but they're alcoholics, right? And I was looking at them going, I don't want your life. I like you and I think you're great, but I don't want to be sat here when I'm 40. I don't want to be, I want to be on a beach somewhere when I'm 40, right? And
Mm.
I guess at that point, I woke up. So it was the 5th of May, I stopped drinking 2024. On the 4th, it was a Sunday night, I was in the pub, I was out my nut, I was like, I'd just done loads of coke, and I was just in that moment, I was all fucking digital and couldn't talk to no one or anything. My mate nearly got thrown through a window at the pub. I couldn't fucking do anything about it because I was just stuck, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Like, you can't even protect your mates, like, you're useless. And then the next day I got up and I was like, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink. And I owed the pub like fucking 800 quid on my tab. I went in, I went, I don't drink anymore. And then about 2 weeks later, she went, I know you're not drinking at the moment. And I'm like, nah, I don't drink at all.
Mm.
Like, I tell people, I don't drink, right? It's an identity shift. You have to just be brutal with yourself, which is why when people say, oh, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to eat better. Are you eating better or not? It's binary. You don't try and win a football match. You either win or fucking lose. Like, it's binary. Identify with one or the other. Simple. You drink or you don't. You go to the gym or you don't. You eat healthy or you don't. You can eat healthily and still eat shit. You can still have rest days if like and go, but stop fucking around. Do yourself the honor and the service, because at the end of the day, you're the only person that matters to you, because you're the only person you spend the most amount of time with on this planet. So be honest with yourself. And your identity is fine. I mean, the thing that stopped me is slightly different. So I had a point of reference from before. So the thing that actually stopped me from going back is that, like, when I was 17 and 18, it wasn't all doom and gloom, Frank, mate. Like, I was fucking flying, mate. I was doing like 10 grand a month. I had, like, I mean, this isn't by any measure my metric of success anymore, but, you know, I was stepping out of the house wearing £1,500 worth of clothes every day. I had the fucking dead stock shoes, I had the Bape, I had the chains, I had the fucking teeth, I had the Merc, I had the money, I had the attention, right? Everyone wants to see me, right? When I walk into that pub, everyone wants to see me. Everyone's happy to see me on a Friday. I can get girls, right? Not that was my thing, but I had it all, bro. I had 30 grand in the bank. I was 18 years old. I had 20k in crypto, mate. I was fucking going off like a rocket, right? And then 3 months later, my car ain't got no wing mirrors on it because I've been driving round out my nut, fucking smashing into things, getting in police chases. I've lost all my money in crypto. I've spunked 30 grand on opiates. I'm fucking nearly 10 grand in debt with my guy. It's all just gone downhill. And then it was like 18 months of that. And then once I got to that breaking point, I was like, you've done it already, Charles. Like, you've had your friends, you've done it all, you've got it. You've clearly like got proof of concept. The thing that fucked you up is getting on it all the time. So just don't get on it and you'll be able to get that success. And lo and behold, mate, I'm here. Less than 2 years later.
It's not with the grill.
No, I still, well, Joe, you know what? My ex-missus stole them off me, so they're worth a couple grand, but I still got a little one, but.
A little. But what you just said, you said this, just within that, you said you're not a quitter. You didn't quit drugs, you're not a quitter. So your definition of yourself is that you don't quit. And I think that's strong because that can be both negative and positive. Like you have the cards that you've been dealt, right? You have mannerisms, you have the personality traits, you have the traits of the individual that you are that make you who you are, and everything that builds the building blocks of you as an individual can lead to negative things, but could also lead to positive things. And it's about a choice then. It's about defining what you have. You've got an addictive personality. Cool. Get addicted to something positive. If you're not a quitter, cool. Don't quit improving yourself. If you're, do you know what I mean? Like you can, both things can happen, and it doesn't necessarily come from like the life that you've had from 15 to 22, 23 is stereotypically from a very working class, bottom of the wrong ladder that gets into the wrong crowds because that's all they're surrounded by. You said you went to a really great school and you were raised. You know what I mean? You like doesn't it's not always as black and white as the people believe. It's so based on the individual that you have that you are, and the traits that you have, and how you choose to use those traits. And when you're young and you're impressionable and you're around people and your stuff, if you have traits that could be easily not manipulated, but lead you down negative paths
Without the right frameworks in place, yeah, these
without having a
traits
comparison
can.
to what positive could be,
Yeah.
negative happens, and it sometimes is dressed as positive. Like you said, you had the car, the money, the this, the that. Seemingly quite a positive experience for you.
Yeah, I
Looking back,
certainly
you
see it.
probably see it as quite a negative experience.
I don't know. I like to reminisce. They were good days. There were good times in that. And to just sort of blanket anything is a bad experience, I think is just naive and ignorant.
Hmm.
I mean, even like relationships, man. I mean, I have a tendency to allow them to go on for too long. Even like with sales reps, mate. You'll find in the future if we find a
I
bad
know,
one,
mate. I know.
I'll
We've had a
I'll
certain
I'll
situation, haven't we?
I'll hang on a little bit too long, dude, because I want to give someone again. It's not quitting. I want to give someone the benefit of the doubt until they've shown me every reason why I can't no longer trust you, right? And I don't know where I was going with that, Frank. I'm sorry, but yeah, quitting on people like quitting. Knowing when to stop for me is an issue. Clearly, right? Clearly, but knowing when to stop, or instead of quitting, you just pivot. It's just knowing when to pivot. And if you know that, like you say, if you've got these qualities and these positive traits, but you feel like maybe they're not directly aligned with your values or where you want to get to, then maybe it is worth addressing having a pivot. Even like last year, I was doing by my metric unbelievably well at the end of last year, but I had to pivot because it was just not healthy for me mentally. There's too much stress, too much strain. It wasn't necessarily aligned with what I did, so I had to pivot, and here we are today.
I think it's people feel like they need to be motivated to do things, right? You need to have motivation to go to the gym or to eat well or to wake up that morning and choose that new skill or that whatever. You need motivation to do it. Then people say, actually, no, you don't need motivation. You need dedication. Dedication is what's really underlying here. Motivation is just doing it when you want to. Dedication is doing it even when you don't want to. Then there's the third one that no one really talks about, which is obsession, which is not being able to do the thing, like not being unable to do the thing. Like you have to do it. You can't not do it, right? And I think it's so important to find something, and it is a search, and it is hard, but that you are obsessed with, that you can't not do. Because, again, depending on your traits, naturally it will probably be a positive thing, right? And no matter what it is, no matter what you do, if you're obsessed with it, it's probably going to lead to a positive outcome. Like if I'm dedicated to go to the gym and get in shape, right? But like I said, I eat like shit sometimes. I drink sometimes. Whatever. Not obsessed. It's not every single day. If I was obsessed with it, I'd probably have a much better physique and be sponsored by some magazine. Fucking, do you know what I mean? Ripped on like tanned and fucking somewhere. There's levels to everything, and you can dip your toe in certain things. But what are you obsessed with that you can't not wake up and do every single day?
Helping other people, man. Genuinely helping other people. I don't care who you are, I'll help. But I think around those three things, it's very important to address that motivation, dedication, and obsession. I mean, obviously, they work in hierarchy of like ease to action, right? If you're obsessed with something, it's easier to do it than if you're motivated to do something. But having a very, very clear awareness of the fact that whether it's motivation, dedication, or obsession, at least 50% of the time, you are not going to want to do said thing. And people will go, oh, why is it so hard? Or why is it so difficult? Or I'm not motivated to do this. Or I don't have discipline. It's like the people who have discipline don't want to do it. I don't want to help people every day. I see a homeless person in London the other day and she was just off her fucking nuts. She's like, anyone got any money, any money? I was like, do you smoke? Yeah. And I had to sit and listen to her while she had a fucking fag talking some bollocks, right? But I, that's a really poor example. Sorry, Frank. But like, this is just the first thing that popped into my head. But you don't want to do things. I don't want to go on a coaching call every single day. I'm not like, yay, it's 7:30 tonight. Can't wait, and it's 2:30, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my day waiting to do this call. Like, you're not going to want to do things all the time. It's going to be difficult, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things in your current situation that you don't want to do, yet you suffer with or tolerate anyway. And the thing that you want to get towards is going to have difficulty and hardship anyway. So it's pick your hard. Life is going to suck. Objectively, life is going to suck most of the time because it's difficult. If you can be happy with the fact that it sucks, like at the minute, man, my anxiety is debilitating me. I'm struggling to eat before 1 p.m. Right? I can't even think about going, even now, I cannot be thinking about going to the gym. I don't even want to be around 5 people, let alone fucking 50. And if I just went, oh, well, I don't want to, so I won't, or oh, it's difficult, so I won't, or this feels hard, so I won't, then I won't get anywhere. Like, you have to make sure that you do things irrespective of how you feel to get towards what you want. And if you're not able to do that, you're either weak, or your values don't align with what you're doing, or your priorities aren't aligned with what you're doing.
Why are we so fucking soft?
Because, like, I'm going to put my tin hat on here for a minute, Frank. But when people are weak, they're easy to control. There are billions of people on this planet. There are a handful of those who control everything. That's just a fact, right? And it's difficult for people who have their own minds to be controlled or held down. And I think I have no issue with the current system the way it is, because I don't necessarily conform to it and never have, never will. But if everyone fought for themselves and everyone had their own minds and everyone was strong and no one was weak, I think this world wouldn't work in its current way. So I think the majority of people have to just be good little slaves for this world to work, unfortunately, right? Like, people, you have to have bin men. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Not everyone can have a SaaS, right? And I think people are weak because it's been made easy for us. The accessibility to things and the ease of dopamine, like just getting easy dopamine, or making sure that it's easy to skip things, or there's just less resistance to doing nothing than there is to doing something. And people aren't used to doing hard things, and it feels hard, and they haven't made friends with making... I've made friends with the fact that life is hard, so I don't mind doing hard things. But people who have had an easy life, I don't mean circumstantially, I mean with actions. If they've had an easy life, it makes them weak because they don't understand that things need to be hard most of the time.
And I know people my age, older, that live life expecting it to be easy. Like,
That makes it harder. That makes it harder.
why do we want it to be easy? Like, there's no fun in something being easy all the time, 24/7. It's just you're living an easy life. Like, we humans need a challenge. Humans need to overcome. Humans need to conquer or defeat or to win, right? It's ingrained, it's hardwired in every single human on Earth that they need to, even if it's beat yesterday's version of themselves, like it's there. And half of the stuff going on, the mental health crisis, the weight pandemic, the everything that you see that's plastered all over media, I think could be resolved if people just chose to try and beat yesterday.
I agree.
But how? Like, like how do you define what there is to be beaten and to continue doing it without just doing it? Because I can't articulate, and I'm hoping you can because you're much better at articulating things than I am. How can you define what needs to be beaten and then beat it? Because I wake up every day, and I'm not saying I'm some like fucking monk mode guy that just knows exactly what to do every day. I just live my life, and then I feel good at the end of it because I feel like I'm progressing because I choose things to progress on. But I don't. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's not a second thought to do. It just happens. What can people easily pick and choose and do to get that feeling?
Yeah. I think as well, you've got to note that, me included, you're saying this from a privileged frame of mind, Frank, because you've got yourself to the point of looking at yourself and doing the work on yourself to get to the point where you feel like you're just floating through life and cruising through life and you feel good about it at the end of the day. Because,
But I don't. I live 95% of my day in stress or not turmoil, but like constant problem solver mode,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. But you're used to that, right?
Which I found peace in now, which
Yeah,
is
precisely. So you got a privilege. When I say privilege, I mean is in you're lucky that you've made friends with that. So it doesn't feel like you are working on yourself every day, but you are. So I
okay.
guess for other people who aren't used to that volume of working on themselves or aren't used to that level of alignment where they're so at peace with this stress and this trouble, I'd say that if you want to, is it more so about how do I be better or how do I build the systems to be better?
I just want to understand what your opinion is on improvement because you've gone from like you've not had a normal 2 years. From where you were to where you are now is abnormal. And
Yeah.
you got to recognize that, right? Like
Yeah.
there are millions of people that have probably been in the situation you were 3 years ago that are maybe 10% out of it, right?
Mm.
You've gone 400% out of it. And I know you still live with things and it's still there and it still shows its face, but objectively, from an outsider's point of view, they look at you now and they go, fucking hell, well done. You know what I mean? It's a very admirable thing that you've done. So from your perspective, how did you excel so quickly? It's like self-development steroids you've taken. You know what I mean? Like you've surpassed everything that you went through and you've used it as a rocket fuel to get you to where you are. But people can't go from slightly out of shape, not as much savings as they'd like, this like quite marginal negative to marginal positive in 10 years, 20 years. And you've done extreme to extreme in 2 years.
Yeah. Um, this is why I love sales, right? Because it taught me, like, this is the thing I understood. I had to sell myself on this life in the first place. So if we look at sales, for example, right, we've got the cost of implication. Okay, we've got the missed opportunity. We've got the wasted time. We've got the why are we doing this now, right? There are 4 questions that we're going to want to cover on a sales call. The cost of implication. If I continue doing what I'm going to do, where the fuck am I going to be in 5 years? At my goal or further away from it? Firstly, I mean, let's just the first thing is minimize the gap between thought and action. If you have to think something and then fuck around for a week, you're not going to get there. Just do it. If you don't know what to do, that's absolutely fine. The next thing you want to do is do a life audit, whether it's a month, whether it's a week, whether it's daily. Where am I? Right, I didn't write this down. Maybe I did. I can't remember. Right, it was a while ago now. What am I dissatisfied with about myself? So for me, I was like 95 kg, right? My skin was yellowish green, right? I fucking looked ugly as fuck. Couldn't afford a haircut. Couldn't afford to feed myself. Was in loads of debt and had no confidence. right? So I'm looking at that and I'm going, right, so what do I need to do? I need to lose weight. I need to eat food and drink water. I need to understand how to talk to people like a human being. I need to find a way to make some fucking money and quick. And I can't remember what the last one was.
You were yellow.
Yeah, yeah, eat clean, right? Be healthy. So I looked at that and was like, right, well, okay, I've now got where I am. I've now got where I want to get to. Now let's look at each individual one. So the weight only came off when I stopped drinking because I just wasn't just dragging myself through life when I was drinking. And I was like, right, so what do I need to do? I need to eat less. I need to move more. And I did it. I ate a lot less and I moved a lot more. And was it sustainable? Probably not, but I got down to like 80 quite quickly. I started eating better. Money, let's just get a stable job and then let's continue trading. Let's find out if I can actually crack this code. And then I obviously got into investing in myself and doing sales, X, Y, Z. But I firstly was like, I need to act quickly. I need to write down what I need to act on. I need to write down what the desired outcome is, right? Because if nothing changes, I'm not going to... Like, the cost of implication for me stopping drinking was, if I don't change, then I will end up like these people drinking. They're fine. They're lovely people. I do like them. I see them and still enjoy their company, but I don't want to be like them respectfully. So I just need to make sure I take steps to step away from that. So if someone's like, oh, I'm a little bit overweight, okay, how badly do you want to be on a normal weight? Actually think about that. Okay, and then by when? Right? Like, you have to have a tangible outcome with a tangible time scale, and you need to have tangible steps in place. If I want to build a ladder, how high does it need to be? How far apart are the rungs? If I just want to build a ladder, I'm never going to fucking start, because I don't know what the shape or size or material of the ladder is. So for people who are struggling with doing more, actually do something, because you're probably doing nothing.
What about past that? So use the weight as an example. Set the tangible goal, set the tangible thing, work towards it, reverse engineer, step by step, day by day, whatever. What then? Because most of the time people do that. Get a PT, short period of time, holiday, some like external thing is making them do it. They get to it and then they go back to where they were. And it's this cycle that repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats.
Well,
Is it just set the next goal? Is it as simple
yeah,
as that?
well, yeah, I believe that you can move the goalposts for sure, as long as it's healthy, and as long as you're allowed to move the goalposts, in my opinion, provided that you don't attach satisfaction with the end result. So if I'll be happy when I have abs, then you won't be, which I've realised, which is why I'm happy with myself, even though I don't have abs right now. I'm still happy with how I look, but I know I'm going to look like a sexy boy when I'm there. But yeah, move the goalposts, provided that happiness isn't attached to that. But also, I think that this is a game. Life is a game, and you can play it like a game. So just because you've just completed one challenge, do you then shut the PlayStation off forever? I mean, that wouldn't be a very good game, would it? Just do something different. I mean, right now I'm getting lean and I want to do some endurance, right? At one point, I probably want to be like fucking 90 kilos lean. Not right now, though. I'm not going to beat myself up about that because I've got 50 years to do it. So I can just set a new goal that's in a new area, or I can further refine on top of my goal. But there's always got to be something new. It's like work. You don't just go, oh, well, I'll finish this week and then I'm going to stop. Like, you just go back to work on Monday and do whatever's there in front of you. We all spend so much time doing that for someone else, but not for ourselves.
I spoke to so Sam Hurlin spoke to him the other day on this, and it was very around fitness and weight and getting in shape and all that. But I think the same rule applies. We were talking about having side quests. So when you're on your journey to, let's say you're going from 95 to 80 kilos and you didn't do it unhealthily and you did it over a long period of time, that'd probably take you a few months, probably take you whatever. You're probably going to get bored along the way and start to struggle. So forgetting that that is the goal and just having side quests along the way can almost help. So like an example that Sam said was like, yeah, I've woke up one day and I was like, shit, I can't do leg raises, toes to bar. I want to do 12. And that was his like Still on the main goal, but he had got the little side quest to do 12 toe to bars, right? And mine might be, you know, I'll be on a training block, whatever. But like, fuck it, I want to go for a sub 25k. No idea why, I just want to do it. So now I'm gonna like start to integrate that into it and find a way. Having fun with life, like you said, having a game, having side quests, having random things that you want to try and work towards alongside the main goal that you're hunting for, I think is cool. And the only way you do that is by trying stuff. Like an example I've got is it was my girlfriend's brother's birthday a few weeks ago. Well, it was actually in March, but we booked him snowboarding because he wanted to try it. And I was like, I'll give it a go. Like I've never ever done skiing or snow, but it's never interested me in any way whatsoever. I went and I was like, fuck, this is fucking a bit of me, this. So on the way out, I was like looking at snowboards to buy. I've got a fucking snowboard helmet downstairs now. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, now I'm a snowboarder and I want to go and do it every day. Same happened with paddle. Do you know what I mean? Like there's golf. Fuck me, golf. I'm obsessed. But I think if you can just have these little side quests of life that are strings to your bow, is that what the saying is? It you can overall you're still progressing, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of distracts you. It distracts you. Alex Hormozy says that patience isn't the art of waiting, it's the art of being distracted. Like to get better patience, you don't just it's not just getting better, it's sitting there waiting for the thing to happen. It's distracting yourself on the journey to that thing.
Mm, I
Do
don't
you not
know.
agree?
Well, I do agree in some senses because my main point is provided that these side quests, firstly, don't dilute your energy towards the main outcome, then it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Secondly, I have no issue with. I'm gonna contradict myself slightly, but I think if you're gonna just jump around and do fads, and I don't mean that paddle's a fad, but like, paddle, snowboarding, it's like the energy you're putting into that, if you put it into something that you actually liked, you would take that way further. However, caveat, if you don't try lots of things, you won't know what you like. I coached someone out of sobriety out of sobriety. That would be very nice of me, wouldn't it? That'd be brutal. Here, have some more of this.
Hey, well, just try this as well.
Yeah, this is really good. Trust me. Yeah, I coached someone into sobriety last year, and he was like, he was just my friend's younger brother, same as me, hip hop, graffiti, just the hip hop lifestyle is really just it's a beautiful thing, but it's really not very sustainable. But all he knew was that, right? And he was like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "That's the beauty, mate. Go and play pool. Go and fucking do some horse riding. Like do something crazy that you've never done before, like snowboarding, paddle, whatever, right? Go and try it and see what you like. And as long as you portion some time to trying new shit, I climbing, I do a bit of climbing, like loads of different things. You'll find what you like, and also I guess you'll build like a bigger web of knowledge of like if you've done a bit of paddle, you've done a bit of snowboarding. Like for me, I learn languages and it's really easy. This is like really applicable in the sense that I've learned a bit of that language, but it's the same as that bit of language. So you get this like big contextual awareness of the world around you, right? So trying new stuff and doing side quests is important because it just expands your like life acumen. But
Yeah.
if it's going to dilute your energy or dilute your focus from the main North Star of your life, then I would question, is it actually worth it or not?
My argument to that is, I'm not trying to argue, but my
No, I'm
argument
not.
to
I'm
that
open.
is I've got a vision in my mind now where it's like row of doors, step up, row of doors, step up, row of doors. And they're the levels of life, like in your game that you're on about. And if you're walking through one door with your blinkers on and you get to the next level, you're like, cool, this door's now opened. I can progress in this field. I can do better in this goal, this North Star that I'm shooting towards. You're ignoring all these other doors on that level that you now have access to. To give you an example, 95 kilos, drop down to 80 kilos, your vision's on, you've hit that next stage. Now you can run without knee pain, you can climb because you're lighter, you can snowboard because you've got better core, you can paddle without getting out of breath. Like you've got all these other doors that you're ignoring because you've got your blinkers on for this North Star that you're shooting towards. And also that North Star might not always be, this is what I was saying at the very start about chaos theory, might not always be the thing that you actually, truly, deeply want because you have a lack of information between here and there. So with your trading example, when you took that trading call, your North Star in your mind was to be the successful trader and take that course to da 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 da. Now you're a sales manager, which is the door fucking over here that you didn't even realize was there, that you're now in, and now you've got this world that you didn't know could happen because of that call. But that's because you had some element of your eyes were open. Do you know what I mean?
I know
Am I making
exactly
any
what you mean.
sense?
No, no, you make complete sense, and I agree with you, right? But rebuttal. Um, say you get to level 1, right? These doors are open. You get to level 2. Level 1's doors are still there, dude. Right?
Mm,
If you get to level 5, you've now got 50 doors to look at. Going down a level isn't a loss. You can
mm,
just go and explore. But if you've
mm.
only got 10 doors, do you actually know what you want, or have you just settled? Like, and there's nothing like, mate. I went first 3 months of this year. I went back to manually trading because I was like, I've got some dough. I'm just going to make this work. So I went back down to that level 1 door. Had a little look in there. Not for me. But
But when do you pick your head up out of the sand? Like, if you're this motivated person that is wanting more, constantly chasing that North Star, the North Star is going to move. It's a fucking star. It's miles away. But you're not aware of the next level you're getting to. So, to give you an example, one of my best mates, he came out of school, 16 years old, no qualifications, dyslexia, couldn't fucking whatever, wasn't the typical academic, right? Got into a very, very smart family though. Like his dad was really successful in engineering and whatever. And he'd learned throughout his life that you can sort of put. He knew money. He understood finances. And back when we were 15, 16, you get an apprenticeship. You're talking £2.50, £3 an hour for your job, right? And he started plumbing at 16 years old, saving like 60% of his £2.50 per hour towards his first house fund, right? 20 or 21 comes around, buys his first house, all this money is saved. And I had like I was like, oh, I was so happy for him, but I was like, he missed out on stuff. He didn't come out as much. He didn't, do you know what I mean? He didn't do as much as we were doing, who were spending all our £3.50 or whatever. And he missed out on that phase that is now you can't really go back to, right? You can't really be that age again and have that first time in a pub feeling or that. Do you know what I mean? That those moments at a certain age you have to be. And he had his blinkers on for that goal and he got it and he was like happy days. But imagine if 2 months before he buys his house gets hit by a bus. And I lived with this thing in my head. I was like, it's this fine art balancing enjoying where you are now and striving for where you want to be. Because if you strive too much and too obsessively and close your eyes to anything else, you might miss out on things at the age you are that you can enjoy at the age you are. Chasing something that, you know?
yeah, it's about balance, man. I mean, balance is different for everyone. Um, at the end of the day, I would argue that saying he missed out is unfair because he made his own decisions and he was aligned on his path, and that was his path. It's not your path. And yeah, he may have
100%.
missed out on stuff, but you also missed out on having a house at 21. So there's
Mm,
two sides to every coin, and to compare is to remove yourself of the ability to appreciate what you've got.
mm,
I would also say that it is a fine art. It is a balancing act. So my mentor's an 8-figure AI startup guy, right? And
mhm,
he doesn't sleep, and I prioritize sleep. And I was chatting to him going, bruv, because he was trying to explain something to me and he just couldn't get his words out because he'd been up since 1 in the morning, right, on calls with Asia. And I was like, you don't sleep enough. And he was like, bruv, I'd rather, like, I was like, you're going to die. Like, this isn't going to, like, you get to 50, you're going to have a heart attack. He's like, I'd rather die. And he said this, like, proper, like, angrily, like, almost spat at me. He was like, I
Mm.
would rather die young than not achieve what I've got going on. And I'm like, well, if that's your bag, then that's your bag. And I'm no one to tell you otherwise. So, again, it's about alignment with your North Star. Are you actually aligned? Like, my alignment's completely different. I don't want that out of life. I want to have a bit more of a stable life, whether that's not earning 6 figures, 7 figures a year. That's okay. But for me to compare myself to others is to, like, take away everything that I've got or worked for or working towards. So I think everyone's got their own journey, and you should give yourself grace towards that, and you can find that balance and what works for you. But if you're aware of sacrifice, and sacrifice happens on both sides of the coin, you either work more and sleep less, or you sleep more and work less. There's a sacrifice on the other side. You're either going to wake up feeling energized, or you're going to wake up knowing that you got the shit done you had to get done.
There's opportunity cost with everything.
Yeah, totally. But if you actually, I don't think people are aware of the sacrifice, so they don't do the thing they said they were going to do and they feel bad about it, or they do the thing and then they feel bad that they missed out on the leisure, right? And it's like, well, be happy with either. If you're not aware of the sacrifice, you're going to feel bad about it. So tonight I'm going to go out, I'm going to play some pool, probably going to go out and eat some rubbish food, right? I'm going to be happy with that. I'm probably going to feel a bit shit tomorrow morning. I'm going to be a bit sluggish, and I might lay in and not sleep as well. If I am not aware of the fact that I'm going to do that tomorrow and feel that way, and I'll wake up tomorrow and feel that way, I'm going to feel bad about that.
Mm.
So the balance of living and doing is entirely down to how you feel about it and what you're willing to sacrifice. My best friend Tony was 81. He died last year. Miss him very much, but one thing that I've actually sort of brought into my life is that he didn't really regret much. He did a lot more leisure than I would have wanted to, but we had different goals. But one thing he did is he didn't regret.
It's not. It's all about. You're right. It's about alignment, because it's so hard to have genuine alignment when there's so much access to other options and insight into other people's alignment as there is now, like with social media. And you wake up and you go on your phone for 5 minutes, you can see 100 different people living 100 different lives, and you've got 100 different, and you have access to do all 100 of those things. And now you're like, fuck, I feel shit about the one I'm doing now, even though it was what I wanted to do last week. And it's hard. I think it's hard to have that alignment.
Get off your phone. It's not hard. I think, again, like, I'm not trying to make everyone out to be a victim, Frank, but it's not that difficult. If you want to keep watching porn and be like, oh, I feel like shit about myself and my relationship, stop watching porn, mate. Just stop doing it. Just remove the trigger. Remove the thing that makes you feel bad. If you feel bad because you're comparing yourself, stop comparing yourself. I can't stop comparing myself. Then remove all friction between you and being able to compare yourself with other people. I do it. I have to just unplug. Just unplug. If you want to, if you're not happy with where you are, looking at someone else who's got what you want isn't going to help you. Working out how you're going to get there is. But that isn't going to be on Instagram or TikTok. That's going to be with a pen and paper in a room with no lights or windows. It's not hard. It's simple, not easy.
Simple, not easy. Yeah.
Like everything. Everything is simple, not easy.
You got it, man. Very wise words.
Thank you, sir.
So, what next for you?
Near term or long term?
What's your North Star?
I want to get into addiction, man. Into the addiction space. I don't want to
Back
get
in.
Yeah, little hiatus.
Little side quest.
Why not, man? For our time's sake. Devil on my
Imagine
shoulder.
done this whole podcast like you've fought your way out of addiction and battle. It's like, I'm going back.
There we go. The good old days. Been reminiscing.
I showed myself I could get out. I'm gonna go back in.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You've done it once, you do it again. But no, I think long term, it is helping people in addiction because every time I go to a recovery meeting, I just know I've got the tools to help others, whether that's counselling, whether that's volunteering, whether it's setting up my own rehab. Because I feel that like what I've done doesn't necessarily align typically with traditional methods of help, and I feel that as someone who's been through the system and speaks to people who've been through the system, it is fundamentally flawed. It doesn't work. It doesn't help people. It is a money pit. There's not enough funding for it. So, I'll need multi six figures to really get something off the ground in a couple of years, but that would be the North Star. But that can come in many different ways. As long as I'm serving others and helping and making sure that I'm creating a positive impact, because I've created so much of a negative impact on the people around me and other people's lives, that I want to make sure that I prosper, allow other people to prosper. But I guess that's the long term. The more near term, again, is still aligned. And this is why I don't mind, because my daily alignment and my long term alignment is all the same. It's about serving others and helping other people. But in the near term, it's going to be, let's see if we can help 500 people change their lives with Zenith for sure. And I can have a family, dude. You know what I mean? Wife and kids, really. That's. I think that is the essence of life. I feel like that is, at least for me, like the main thing I want. I want to be able to impart what I've learned onto a little me, and I want to see that flourish. I want to see that grow. I think that'd be the biggest gift that life can give me.
Love it, man.
How about you?
Something I battle with quite a lot because I'm very much experiencing that what now feeling, and I've not even achieved that much. And I've constantly defined myself, like we said earlier, as this person that will do the best in whatever he does. But I've got everything that I worked for. Like we've got a kid on the way. I want to be a great dad, you know. But there's no end goal to that. There's no. That's just to continue being a great dad, you know. I
Why does
want to
there need
be
to
a
be an
great
end goal?
husband. There doesn't. But that's what I mean. That there's no North Star. There's just there's a version of me that I want to wake up and be every day, which is the version of me that I am. And I want to continue waking up and being that. So I almost want to stay and plateau and just now find the peace in that rather than the pursuit of that. So we've got a kid on the way. Obviously, with the partner I want to be with, I want to be a great dad, a great husband. I want to be a great son to my dad that I don't feel like I've always been. I want to be a great owner of a business and look after everyone within Zenith, both clients and staff. Um, I want to help you get to your North Star if I can in any way. Do you know what I mean? I want to just create, I want to be who I am, just, but keep being it.
I'm curious as to why you don't think that is a North Star, though, Frank. Because just because it's
Well,
not
it
a
is a North
tangible
Star, I guess, isn't
outcome.
it? But it's,
Well, yeah, you're saying, oh, what now? Like,
but like what you just said about, I want to create a center and need this and I need that. I don't have like I want to create this. I just want to be me forever.
that is the goal, though, dude. Like, that is the North Star, and it does constantly evolve, and the goalposts do move. Being a good dad now
I
is going to
suppose.
be feeding your kid at 3 in the morning when he's crying
Yeah,
or she's crying, right? And
exactly.
then in 2 years' time, it's going to be teaching them to how to use a knife and a fork. Like,
Yeah.
just because it's not a tangible outcome with a ticket attached to it doesn't necessarily mean it isn't a North Star. So maybe you're grappling with the
It's
fact that it's not a clear outcome, and because you haven't got a clear
yeah.
outcome, that's what you're grappling with.
Yeah. And I find solace in the side quests. And I think that's probably why I'm a big advocate for having them because I like having these little mini goals that you can have tangible outcomes with and chase. So like you said, being the 3 a.m. feed, I'll fucking have a chart on my wall how many ever I mean like how many times I've fed my
Habit
kid or
tracker.
yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like I like I like to tick stuff off and say that I've done it. So that's my version, is to constantly be fit enough and healthy enough and have enough time and have enough resources to do whatever side quests I want to do, whether that's for the benefit of myself or others.
I think that's beautiful, and I, if I had any advice for you, it'd be to remove the grapple from within yourself, or at least explore why you're grappling with the fact that an intangible outcome is difficult for you to make peace with.
Mm. Maybe just lots of little tangible ones. That's what I
Yeah.
keep landing on. Is like just set. You have to. It's like when you fully go to working online or for yourself in some capacity or having autonomy over your schedule, you suddenly now have the thing that you wanted, the autonomy, but now you have the battle of no structure. You have to create your own structure,
Mm.
right? Which I've struggled with. I know other people working in the like online space have as well, because now you don't have to be somewhere at a certain time. You don't have to get up at a certain time. You don't have to. Do you know what I mean? You're not defined by set time frames. You have to make them yourself, which is sometimes a hard thing to transition into. And I think I'm in that space of transition between tangible, big North Star things and creating my own little goals and structure of life, I guess.
I think it's important to note as well that we can use certain processes and frameworks to get us to a certain point, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to serve us forever. So just because you've had a
Mm,
North Star and you've worked through life on a goal-based framework with a tangible outcome, tick that box, what's the next one? That's got you to this point in life. And maybe it was really valuable for you for a season,
mm,
but now maybe less so valuable. And trying to use, maybe you're using the wrong tools now to get you to that next level in your life. And
mm,
that tool that you're trying to use right now is the tangible outcome goal based framework that maybe no longer is going to serve you because the
mm.
landscape has changed. And maybe just revisiting what a goal looks like to you or what that alignment actually looks like to you might serve you much better in the future of firstly grappling less with it, but also giving yourself the grace and space to find out how that goal comes to fruition in your life now.
Mm. I think this podcast is a good example. It's something I want to grow,
Yeah.
right? But it's quite selfish because I want to talk to people that I find interesting and want to learn something from, so I can be a more well-rounded human that can know conversations about different areas, so I can be a better dad. And then it comes back to the okay, this is the overall goal, and then I'm adding things to benefit that that version of myself, which is again, I think the point of what I'm trying to say is that everyone is just figuring it out. People that are further than you in life are figuring it out. The next step, they're figuring out the next step, and it's beautiful.
It's all our first time doing this, bro.
Yeah,
So
you
if
just
we're
got to
kind
enjoy.
to each
As if
other,
if you're not enjoying the process, it's a hard place to be. Whereas if you can just find that enjoyment throughout it, I think it's fun. You can see it as a game and not as a chore.
it's the only way you're going to make it and enjoy it.
Mm. No, man. Fun. Right, Charlie. I appreciate you massively,
Back at you, brother. It's been an absolute
and
pleasure.
I don't say that enough. I genuinely do appreciate you. You have brought a lot to this business and opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, and I know you've helped a lot of guys, both in the course, staff, everyone that you've come into contact with have only said positive things about you. So, and I hope everyone watching this can feel and see what a person you are and what you've been through and to where you are now. So, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this. Is there anything you want to leave them with? Any more nuggets of gold?
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
There you go. Good
That's
stuff,
real.
man.
I'm honoured, man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Speak to you soon.